This is James.
And I'm BJ. Welcome back to your weekly booze, news, and reviews. Awkward silence.
I was like, don't you usually say podcast? I always think
no,
you say podcast.
you always throw it in
I
there.
throw it in.
It's because we used to say,
it
welcome back
flows.
to your weekly. Well, what did it used to be? It used to be, welcome back to your weekly whiskey, wine, and all things barrel-aged podcast. That's what it used to be.
To it. I think we need to throw that back in there.
And now it's welcome to your weekly booze, news, and reviews.
Hey, well, welcome to episode 150. First of all, edit this in post. Put some fanfare.
Party music.
We made it. We've made it 150 episodes later to our mediocre success as a social media person. What is it?
We're influencers.
Media influencers.
We're influencers.
Disgusting.
Yeah.
I hate being associated with that. We're not
I
calling
love it.
ourselves that.
I call myself that all the time.
We're just some friendly jamokes that want to sit here and
We're
chat with
friendly
you guys.
neighborhood jamokies.
So, thank you, Mrs. Askins. Happy 150th episode.
Thanks. And mostly it says, thanks to all of you for making it possible.
Thanks to all 5 of you that
We
always show
appreciate
up
it.
for all 150 episodes.
Appreciate that.
All 5 of you are like family to
From the
us.
SHOT Show to this show.
From the SHOT Show to other S shows to this show. We made it.
It's a show every week.
I kind of like that though, because we have some really interesting redos is what I'm going to call redo.
Yeah,
redux.
the redux, the redos.
That's all we're going to say.
The redo review.
But we're gonna circle back,
Yeah.
as they say in corporate lingo,
It's a fact.
and open our kimonos and take another deep dive into
our kimonos.
into the world of
It's a family-friendly
whiskey.
show.
So, what do we got today? We got a special bottle for F150.
we
That's the best
do.
reaction. You should record that reaction you just made right
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
We do have a special bottle. It's a commemorative bottle, and I think that speaks well to the commemoration of our 150th, our Seska Centennial episode.
Quintennial.
Our
What do you got there? Go to the bottle.
Quintessennial. This is we did Wild Turkey last week for Turkey Day. And so we're going to spin around and now do another Wild Turkey offering. This is the Russell's Reserve, but this is a very
Ooh.
special Russell's Reserve. This is Russell's Reserve 10. This is the Camp Nelson. And I think that there should be nobody talking about
Whoa.
this except for you, because that whoa says it all.
So first of all, shout out to our wonderful, wonderful friends over at Liquor Lineup here in Las Vegas. Shout out to Sal and the crew out there for picking this and getting this available. Like,
It's a big
I
deal.
haven't had a Camp Nelson single barrel, a Camp Nelson, in a very, very long time. This is a Camp Nelson B. So for those that don't know, Camp Nelson has quite the history at Wild Turkey.
Sure does.
It's probably, well, first of all, it's probably the biggest tatery rick house, like, I guess, area, because there's multiple rick houses, warehouses.
Multiple
in
campuses,
in
even, right?
campuses.
Multiple
That's the best way to put
campuses.
it. Probably the biggest tater name on a Wild Turkey is
I
if you throw
agree,
Camp
yeah.
Nelson on there, just everybody loses their minds.
It's a big
Anyway,
deal.
some stores and some places are able to get these store picks, and they're able to pick from Camp Nelson stock, which is pretty rare, because
Big
typically
deal.
Wild Turkey uses that for their own stuff because it has a reputation of being the best, or one of the best. I'm sure it's debatable. But anyways, this particular bottle, Sal over there at Liquor Lineup was able to pick a winner.
Shout out to you there, Sal.
This is an MSRP. This is an $89.99 bottle.
Smoking.
Typically, I want to say these run for, like, if you just go and get a 10-year, that's not a store pick select, they're probably $60.
Yeah, that sounds right.
So he falls in line right there. Like, I'm not upset having to pay the premium on this, especially being a Camp Nelson. So
Is there a secondary markup for Camp Nelson bottles within the community?
I mean, you can probably flip it for, I'd say, a double. You probably get 200, 150 to 200 for it on that market for those out
And
there.
here
that
we are drinking it.
are
As a reminder,
scumbags.
drink your bottles.
Drink your bottles. Believe it or not, liquorlineup.com. I will post that into the chat. If you're
Yeah.
local to Las Vegas, you can buy this right now and have it delivered to you tomorrow. He still has a few left. And I'm going to post that up there, liquorlineup.com. Shout out, Sal. So really looking forward to this. And I kind of got the nose, and it's already like, wow.
There is some wows. So yeah, so this is an interesting bottle,
what are the
right?
stats? What do we got?
55%, so 110 proof, which is pretty typical.
Yeah.
Of the Russell's Reserve.
Did we talk like this? The rare breeds come in like right around that, like 110, 120.
They come in. Yep, they come in at 110. Sometimes to 120, depending on what your cask strengths are and what they were doing with the blend that year.
Batch.
But this was distilled May of 2013, so 10 years ago.
Yep.
It was dumped August 29th of 2023, bottled September 12th, 2023. This is barrel number 22-1041. Comes from the 5th floor of the Rick House.
Camp Nelson B.
Of Camp Nelson B. And you said it has a storied history. I love this. What did Camp Nelson used to age? What was Camp Nelson campus?
Oh, yeah.
What were they making?
For those that are really kind of big diehard turkey fans, you would know or should know, now that we're going to tell you, that Camp Nelson at one point in time was the famous Canada Dry. Bourbon is
That's right.
originally what was stored.
Right. Not ginger ale.
Not the ginger ale.
There was a moment where they made bourbon, and not good bourbon.
Exactly. I guess that's debatable. There might be some people that it was so good, man. I wish I could still get that Camp Nelson.
Those people are dead.
Yeah, unfortunately. So anyway, but the interesting thing about Camp Nelson, though, just to kind of talk a little bit more about it, it's about 45 minutes away from the distillery, so it's a long
it's an interesting campus.
Yeah, so it's actually very close to the Kentucky River. And our friends here, I want to share this out because I'd like to give him kudos, because our friend here at, just give me a second, just a moment, some technical challenges here. Get some music going. There you go. Keep it going. Keep it going. All right. Here we go. So our friends at rarebird101.com, they are soaring to greater heights here with their reports on all things amazing that are wild turkey. And if you go here, and I'll post this link in the chat, you get the campus comparisons, so all of you guys can read this. And
it's good reading material. We did a little research there.
Material. Anyway, getting back to it here. So going into the different campuses, so they have the Tyrone campus. You have your Camp Nelson, which we're talking about. And what else do we got here? McBrayer. So you got the little McBrayer Rick House.
Not a big campus. It looks like they got three.
They got three little Rick houses there. Yep. And then it looks like we have a little. That's it. That's the only thing they got. And as it looks like he's drinking a little Wild Turkey Kentucky Spirit.
Gross.
Sorry about that.
I'm gonna share my feelings on that. Gross.
But yeah, if you guys are fans of Rarebird, likes what he's got, looks like he's got a Patreon here. So follow that.
Rarebird, thanks.
Shout out Rarebird. We're always about giving a little shout out to our friends out here that are putting some good info on the internet.
So yeah, we should chat really quick. So we learned some cool history. We may have talked about it last week. I don't remember. We were drinking a lot of Rarebird.
Yeah.
Rare breed.
So
we had Wild Turkey, right?
Yeah.
And you got Wild Turkey 101, and they got Wild Turkey Rare Breed, and then you got Russell's Reserve. And so why Russell's Reserve? Well, I'd like to share that with you.
Ooh, what do you got? Yeah, why?
So Jimmy Russell,
the one and only
master distiller.
That's it.
And Eddie Russell, his son.
That's it.
Okay.
Jimmy and
Eddie Russell, master distillers for Wild Turkey.
Mm-hmm.
Jimmy Russell's been a master distiller for a long time. Something like in, I think it was 2004. I think it was 2004. He was celebrating 45 years of being a master distiller for Wild Turkey. And so Eddie, his son, made Russell's Reserve, a bourbon that was right exactly where his father liked his flavor profile.
Okay.
And it was a commemorative bourbon. It was to commemorate his father's taste and to celebrate his father as a master distiller for so many years. And then they just continued to put out the great Russell's Reserves picks that we've all come to know and come to
Honey
love.
barrels. I think they called them honey barrels. Yeah.
Yeah, they're top end, high end, sought after barrels. They're some of the best of the best, and they're known for good flavor profiles that are extraordinarily complex. And again, honey barrels, right? But
Yep.
best of the best, better than most. So I can't wait anymore. I got to get into this. Let's get into this.
So Jimmy Russell, also known as the Buddha of Bourbon,
the Buddha of Bourbon,
as per wildturkey.com, wildturkeybourbon.com.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's a hell of a title.
Yep. 1855, wholesale grocer Austin Nichols begins selling wine and spirits. The business would later go on to own and sell Wild Turkey. That's it.
He does a pretty good interview on the old YouTubes on the Wild Turkey.
Oh yeah,
YouTube
he
site.
talks about the
He
turkey
gives
hunt.
the whole turkey hunt, why they call it Wild Turkey.
Yeah, and the Jake turkey and the Tom turkey on the bottle.
That was a weird story.
He's got a weird story.
That was a
You
weird
guys,
story.
We're not watching it.
About the
but
gobbler beard.
Yeah, we'll let them watch it.
So let's get into this a little bit, huh? Cheers.
Cheers.
Happy 150th show.
Yeah, same to you. And
Yeah,
cheers
thank
to our
you.
friends here that are always popping in. What are you guys drinking? Get in the chat here. It seems like
Wow.
we're
So-
lacking today. That's quite the nose.
There's-
Holy
There's some interesting
noses.
Yeah. There's some interesting noses in this. There's a lot of good spice. There's some like very baked fruit, sweet fruit that I'm getting. It's very much a part of the season, you know.
Didn't mean to yell there. Like,
And there's some nice
really
tobacco
excited.
note, you know, like
Jeez.
some nice burnt tobacco, but it's like a light tobacco. This is a great nose. I could honestly, I could smell this all night.
There's so much going on there. Like, there's so much going on, but unfortunately, I know I'm going to say this.
Whoa.
It's a lot of heavy oak in a good way. It's a lot of heavy sweet oak, but you guys know me in oak, where I'm just like biff tannins.
Ooh, there is some
But
tannic
I
properties in
appreciate
that.
this, and I love it for what it is.
Wow,
But it really packs an oaky punch.
It's oaky on
But
the
it's
front end.
sweet. It's sweet oak, pillowy.
It
like-
really, yeah. I'm sorry, keep going.
Yeah, and I get this kind of like the caramelly drizzle type apple, like a little bit apple spice, baking spice, but more on the apple sour side.
I'm gonna throw a flavor
What
at
do you
you
got?
that I feel like we've never talked about this,
What do you got?
but I feel like you had it.
He's like leather-bound books.
Mincemeat.
It's been a very, very long time ago.
Mincemeat.
So I don't recall mincemeat, but okay.
Which is brandy, raisins, apples,
Yeah, okay. I see what you're getting at.
and
Sub
and
1K.
age.
How you go?
What's up,
How you
Bobby?
doing? How you doing, Bobby?
but you're right. It does mellow out into this nice, soft, pillowy brown butter.
Yeah.
Sweetness. It's rich.
Brown butter. You're definitely on point with that.
Sorry, I
Mm.
went the wrong pipe.
I
there.
remember when I had my first pour of
I-
Russell's Reserve.
I remember every week.
Woo. Wow, that's a thick boy. It's heavy. It's rich. It has got packs a punch of flavor.
Really full bodied.
What is the ABV on this? I didn't remember yet.
55.
Okay, so it's
This is
coming
a
in
big
110
boy at
proof,
55.
55%. It doesn't drink that hot, but it's packed so much flavor and spice
It
and
drinks-
very oak forward.
Yeah, it drinks that big. I don't think it, drinks that hot.
big, but it doesn't drink hot. Thank you.
Yeah, I wanna-
That's way better.
I want to
Well
clarify
put.
that,
That's
right?
exactly what I meant.
Because we talk about big and heat, and sometimes we use those very interchangeably, but I think it's very important that we clarify. This drinks is a very big, full-bodied, oak forward,
Mm-hmm.
complex bourbon, but it doesn't drink hot. The alcohol profile, the ethanol here is not in your face. It's not burning you out. It's not taking your taste buds off the charts as far as like burning you, you know. It's you can take it. In fact, I'm going to chew this next sip
That's
here.
exactly what I was going to suggest doing. And then I want to say this is the type of bourbon that will hold up to anything you throw at it. You want to put this in some crazy cocktail, like some spirit forward cocktail, use this. If you want to
Ooh.
smoke a big giant Churchill on the porch and have a cigar or something and enjoy the night and have a slow sipper, this would be it. I think this can cut through anything you throw at it. I think it holds its own. Yeah, like I want like a big steak.
I'd
and
eat
just
food with
eat
this.
with a big old steak and mashed potatoes or something,
I feel
right?
I feel like I could drink dinner. All right, I could drink this with dinner.
Yeah, it just like
know?
it's got the weight to it.
It's got meatiness. I know we've talked about meatiness before.
Almost like an umami meatiness.
It's got some, it does have some nice earthy umami undertone. Very
it's
complex.
Almost like a I call it mushroom powder because that's how they sell it at Trader Joe's. It's like in a jar and you put it in like ramen.
The umami powder.
Yeah, and like it has like mushroom and umami, but this definitely has like elements of that in there.
But equally, it's interesting, right? It's kind of a bourbon chameleon because I feel like if I think about dessert,
okay,
if I think about sweet things, like I was just thinking about, oh man, like vanilla ice cream. I'm starting to pick up French vanilla, almond. I'm getting some of those nice almond, those marzipan, again, very rich flavors. But I was just thinking about a nice pork chop, and mashed potatoes and gravy. I think it's kind of a good chameleon. I think you could pair this with a lot of things. And I think it would go well with those things. So I do get some like French vanilla tones, again, kind of going back to some of that
vanilla bean,
almond extract, vanilla bean, like those tones are there, and I think that's what plays to this big full body
brown
bourbon.
Sugar and toffee vanilla bean. You're right there.
Yeah, I think the toffee, it goes to that brown butter.
Sweet black tea, that's another one.
Tea, huh?
I get a little tea notes. I get some black tea
on the nose, and where are you getting that?
And also on the taste, on the palate. That's also remember that this is aged in alligator char barrels.
Oh, that's a big, deep, dark char. What is
so
that, number 4?
This is not like your run of the mill char. This is like
think
of like a double
1
char.
Yeah.
So these barrels are getting very, very toasty.
So these are
a lot more.
Alligator char comes in just underneath toasted, right?
No, toasted is base. Toasted is like the weakest, and then there's like char, which is 3. I think it's char 3, and then alligator char is char 4.
Okay.
And we're gonna have to look that up because everyone's like, these idiots. I don't know what
you guys are dumb. You don't know anything about the char levels.
Armchair jockey. Okay. That is correct. So the term barrel char level refers to the specific amount of time distillers char their barrels for. And then here we go. So from our friends at vinepair.com, they have a great little site here of what the levels are, and I'm just going to rattle them off because
why not? Yeah. That's what we do.
And actually,
maybe you're not.
A nice list. Yeah, maybe I'm not, right?
Maybe it looks like they're just talking a lot about how cool they are, and they're not talking about
like they had a list.
Anything. They don't have no list. You're not going to read anything. They're talking about how their grandmother used to char their butts.
Here we go.
Okay.
Levels of char can vary depending on the barrel producer, but most common used levels are barrel char level 1 through 4. Mm-hmm. It says most barrels aren't charred for more than 1 minute, though Buffalo Trace and its endless experimentations put out a number 7 level char bourbon or a 3.5 minute of straight fire barrel.
Wow.
Anyway, a number 1 char, that was a useless fact. A number 1 char is 15 seconds. Number 2 is 30. Number 3 is the most common, is 35 seconds. And then the number 4 char is 55 seconds. Number 4 char is also known as alligator char.
So yeah, number 4. I was
that was right. Like 99% right. That was 99. That was
doubted myself.
Don't. Yeah, not gaslighting you today. Here, it's perfect. Anyway, it says the interior of the oak wood staves have a rough, shiny texture similar to that of alligator skin, thus its name. Very cool. Very cool.
Well, plus the interior also it's kind of like when a dry lake bed gets that mud. When the mud lifts and cracks.
Yes.
Same thing when you char the interior of that barrel.
Well, yeah, and they also say that another bonus of that alligator charring to alluding to what you're saying, those deep fissures allow the base spirit to really get in. Yeah. You're getting more surface area into the interior of the wood.
That's what people in the business called juicing the juice. Because
juice is loose.
Because what they're doing too, when you talk to anybody who's really passionate about barrel aging, and I will tell you, I am. I think the science of barrel aging is really, really interesting, And when we say juicing the juice, what you're doing in that alligator char and creating those fissures, you are creating additional surface area
That's exactly
for the
what
juice,
I said.
right? So it's not just penetration into the barrel
Whoa,
stave. It's
whoa,
not just
whoa,
that.
Whoa.
It's not that deep penetration. Okay.
That's what she said.
It's about surface area.
Surface area.
It's about the amount of area that the juice can get to that barrel to get into the stave.
Yep.
And that's a big deal. So juice in the juice. Sometimes your barrel producers will also groove the barrel staves.
Yeah, some of the
to do this.
Yeah, a lot of the NDPs. Well, not a lot, but there's NDPs that do that are known for doing the grooves.
You groove your barrel staves.
So you're
Again,
doubling the surface area.
You're increasing surface area.
Yeah. Really quick, I just took a real big pour of that just to kind of see what I was getting.
I saw your reaction. It was a lot.
On the kind of the back end, the aftertaste, I got a lot of like musty, dusty old library, old brick house. Like that was just such a great. Like when you breathe out, you kind of exhale.
I took a big swig myself.
You get that like you walk into a warehouse, and you guys really won't know this until you go tour a distillery and just get that smell.
It's
of
all
like
here
the
in the
warehouse. Back. Yes. But that totally came through in that pour, and I loved that. Like I loved that kind of rancio, kind of it tastes old, and rancio is that specific term. Thank you.
We're gonna need a little
Armagnac's very known for their rancio and old brandies that, stuff that's 20, 30, 40 years old. And it's amazing to think that we're having a 10-year product.
10-year product
that is comparable to some of those very well
some of those 40-year-olds, right? Some of the 40-year-olds. Although
I don't know about that, but 20s and 30s.
I'm reaching.
Faux show.
This is a beautiful bourbon. I'm so excited because I had said I really wanted to get into a Russell's Reserve. I said this even last week. I said, we need to get into a Russell's.
Mm-hmm.
So for you to pop open a Camp Nelson, this is a really big deal.
Thank you, Sal, over there at Liquor Lineup, for having the capability of getting this.
Fantastic. What a pour. And again,
I don't know that there's anyone else in town here locally in Vegas that has a Camp Nelson B pick.
150 episodes.
Cheers to 150
Cheers again.
More.
So, 150 more forever. 150 years more of Barrel Buddies.
I'd like to get to episode 500 and episode 1000. I think those are big marks.
Yeah, they're coming.
But we're really gonna have to ramp it up. We'll have to, like, once we start getting more into shorts, we'll call those episodes. That'll help with the count.
Those are coming. Well, I kind of want to jump into score. I'm pretty excited about score.
I want you. Yeah, I need you to take the lead on your scoring. I'm still really kicking things around.
I'm gonna start by telling you I'm giving it a blown away bonus.
Oh,
I'm gonna start with just laying it out there that I'm blown away, and I'm gonna say that because I've had Russell's before, and there's a lot of times I'm not getting the hype on Russell's Reserve.
No, you've said this before. You've been very vocal because I've been a huge fan of Wild Turkey for many years.
I know.
And you're always like, you kind of grumble if we go out and I get a pour Wild Turkey and I try to put one on you and you're like, no, I don't want it.
Well, I want to clarify that.
Please clarify.
I get grumbly when you get a Russell's and then you try to put a Russell's on me.
True.
I'm always a fan of turkey. Turkey 101,
rare
Wild
breeds,
Turkey, rare
the best
breed.
value, as we mentioned last
Love
week in bourbon.
It's when you order Russell's Reserve and you're like, no, you got to get this Russell's. They've got a Russell's 10, they got a Russell's 9, they got a Russell's 13.
Ooh,
and I'm
Russell's 13.
No, I'm good. And it's
Caramel
just because I don't always get the hype. But I'm going to tell you that on this bottle, I get the hype. I'm getting the hype.
Oh, yeah. I get the hype. Definitely.
This is great. And I'm not just hyping it up because of what it is, where it comes from. I'm not bought in. Listen, I didn't know about Camp Nelson until tonight. I'm going to be very honest.
That's it. Hey, the more you know.
But I will start with a blown away bonus.
Wow.
Right off the bat. Because I am blown away.
Camp Nelson
at how much I like
its status.
I think so. I would say so. I would say so.
There you have it.
So I'm going to go with, let's start with nose, right? Nose, taste, value, like we always go. This nose is super complex. I already said I could sit here and I could take the nose on this all night long. All night long. This nose is delightful. It's really beautiful, very complex. There's a lot of things going on. I like the spices that come out of this.
I get like a faint fireball.
Yeah, there's like some good
Fireball
cinnamon,
candy,
but it's
and
not.
then, but
It's
it's
like
not super
cinnamon.
prominent.
You know what it is? It's like cinnamon. It's like powdered cinnamon out of the
spice rack cinnamon, where
when
it's
you take
not
the lid off
yeah,
and you
it's
just
not sweet.
or like cinnamon you
Cinnamon
get at
stick.
Starbucks and you like you dash the
Yeah.
cinnamon on your Americano.
Yeah, not
you know?
sugared cinnamon sugar.
No, this is
like
powdered
cinnamon
in a fun
Yeah.
way. So
Yeah.
I'm really digging on that. Definitely, it's really close to taking a 3. I think this is a really good
Wow.
nose. I'm going to take it to a 2.5.
Okay,
I'm
that's
not
fair.
because I'm not like both feet in the boat on a 3. So 2.5 on the nose. On the flavor, loving the flavors. Again, mincemeat. Mincemeat is the best thing that I can give to it, and that is a very nostalgic thing for me.
Yeah.
And it went to nostalgia immediately. A good mincemeat bar or an old mincemeat pie. I'm getting these great brandied apples, brandied raisins, these good spices, and these light tobacco notes. And I think that just kind of whatever I'm thinking about, whether it's dessert or food or meat or nuts or whatever it is, I'm able to start really kind of picking out some of those complex flavors. I'm going to take the taste to a 3.
Bravo. There it is.
I really think that to me, that kind of makes it a perfect pour from a flavor profile.
Yeah.
And at $89, listen, we're talking about a single barrel, fantastic pick, a store pick.
Yep.
And you're getting this for $89. So under $100.
Yeah.
Sorry, we just watched Jollibee walk through the door.
We just had our dinner.
And
are we
not so pumped and excited right now? Because the answer is yes.
Oh, we have a delivery.
Hand delivered. Hand delivered Jollibee. Get out of here.
Jollibee drinks. Thank you.
I think that's a value.
Yeah.
I think that's a value. I'm gonna if I had the choice to buy this or to buy Rare Breed, what would I buy?
Ooh, that's a tough call because I almost don't know that you'll need to make that choice because here's why I say that.
Because it's so hard to get.
This is very, very difficult to get. We'll get to that.
And that's kind of why it makes me want to like push my score even further.
Yeah, I think if you were leaning one way, lean in favor of this bottle.
I have to.
I want to say.
I have
because this is not a run of the mill. You can't go buy this every day. Once Sal at Liquor Lineup runs out, we're probably not going to see.
You have to go to Kentucky.
Nelson.
You have to go to Kentucky to buy another bottle.
Or you have to go on some group and buy secondary or something.
Yeah.
Like you're not going to find a Camp Nelson B in town.
So listen, at the end of the day, a 9 out of 10. I'm probably going to push it to a 93 out of 100.
Wow.
Really, it's like a 9.3 because I'm so close. I really want to give it a solid score. I like this a lot. I also listen. You probably can't see it, but there's a custom sticker of Johnny Cash.
Let's see if we can
There's Johnny Cash flipping the bird on this bottle, and
great.
Listen. That's fantastic. You're after my heart with that one. So I love that custom sticker. 93 out of 100. 9.3 out of 10.
All right,
I'm digging this. Jimmy.
I love it. Let's get into the chat. Bullish Brown, welcome. And it looks like they're having a little Mount Gay rum. Doesn't care for rum, but likes that one.
Hey, Mount Gay, nothing wrong with that.
So it's funny you mentioned that because there were some friends of mine that were talking about they did a Mount Gay tasting of some of their lineup, and they were very impressed. And I didn't get to partake. I haven't had Mount Gay rum, but I am looking forward to trying it.
Sounds like it's coming on the show.
Yeah. Well, definitely need to do that on the show. Getting to the nose. So just taking my pour here. I think the nose is solid, but it's probably where I wouldn't give it a perfect score. Like, I think that the nose is kind of like, I would kind of ding it. Like, it's a pleasant nose, but you do get a little bit of that oakiness. It's not super appealing. Like, it doesn't make me like salivate or I'm like, oh man, what did you just pour? Like, I smelled it and I was like, oh, okay. But it was kind of like a little oaky, a little, but nothing in a bad way. Like bacon spices, a little delicate. So I'm giving it a 2. I'm just going like flat 2.
Okay. Flat 2. Respectable.
For the taste, I'm obviously going to give it a 3.
Yeah,
I think that
there
this
you go.
is a wonderful example. Like I mentioned, I want to just get a nice big, I had like some Cuban cigars a couple weeks ago. This would have been a perfect pour if I would have had this bottle. I just picked it up from the shop not too long ago. So I wish I had this bottle for something like that, just having giant, like a big Churchill sitting in your backyard, pouring a whiskey. I think I could, fill this glass up and just sit there for like an hour and be in a perfect, perfect place. So it gets a solid 3. I think the tastes are all there. Yeah, I griped a little bit about the oak, but that's just typical Jimmy being Jimmy with his anti-oak. Whatever. Safi, what's up? Welcome. Good to
long
see
time
you.
no see,
How you doing?
Safi.
But anyway, like I kind of like that's the only thing where I'm like, man, if it just wasn't such a powerful oak. But I get that because it's this give and take where you have to get some elements in category B, you have to do something in category A.
Yeah.
And it's cause and effect. And to get that ridiculous complexity that this has,
Yeah.
you have to go with that alligator char. You have to age it for the amount of time that they've aged it. And that all translates into like all this crazy complexity.
Agreed.
So it's like it has to taste like it does. It has to have that oakiness.
And 10 years in a barrel, right? I mean, it's 10 years of molecule exchange, of molecular
barrel
change.
lavage.
You're gonna get it. You're drinking a barrel. That's what you're doing. You're drinking a part of that thing.
And look how dark it is. Like I think if you got anything off the shelf to like compare it to some. I mean, we're not gonna.
I'd have to look at a rum. I mean, we'd really have to start.
We'd have to look how dark this is.
It's like
you guys
as dark as a rum.
Look at the label. You guys can see it on the camera here. It's a red label. You have this like beautiful red label, and then look at the juice.
Anything.
The juice almost matches up with the color of the label.
It's as dark as it's as dark as
what's that?
A Stag Junior.
Yes,
that's as dark as a Stag
Junior. Absolutely.
Not a Stag, not the new Stag.
No. The Junior.
Stag Junior.
100% agreed.
Yeah.
With all that being said, even digging through all the oak, it gets a 3.
Great.
Knocking it out of the park.
Love it.
With the taste. Obviously, with this value, like I said, you can get the run-of-the-mills right now, 60 to 70 if you just get a rando store pick.
Pretty good.
Is about, like, if I just wanted to go get a single barrel and I wasn't looking at what it was and I just grabbed it, it'd probably be like 60, 70. This was 90. I get it. There's a premium. It's a store pick. It's just awesome. Prices have gone up everywhere. I am still okay with $90. It's still sub $100 bottle. No, it's not a everyday. It's not a payday Friday bottle, I'm sure, for most of you guys, and you probably have to get maybe once a month bottle.
Yeah,
but I think it's fantastic. It's getting a 3 on the value for me because of the complexity. That right there gives it my 8 out of 10. I'm definitely giving it a blown away bonus because of the Camp Nelson special, which I don't know that I don't even know when the last time I gave a blown away bonus was.
Okay.
Sitting at 9 right there. What did you give it?
I give it a 9.3.
A 9.3.
Yeah, 93.
How did you end at 93? You just gave it a little extra bump.
I had to give it a bump. I had to give it a little bump.
Yeah, I think this probably for me
lint from the pocket
falls at. I'm gonna match. I'm gonna give it also a 93.
It just feels right.
It feels right.
It feels right
because I don't want to give it a lower score, but I don't want to give it too much more
because it sits perfectly between 90 and 95.
I agree.
Like 9.3.
I think we are totally in alignment with our scores. 93 out of 100. They do a bang up job. Liquorlineup.com. You can still order these if you're local to Vegas.
Yeah.
If you really want one and you're like hurting, message us.
We might need to help you out
on Instagram. We can see what we can do. We can go to the shop, maybe get you one and ship you one if we want to work those details out. Just message us.
You mean ship them a box of macaroni and cheese?
Hey, don't give away all the trade secrets here.
We'll ship Kraft macaroni and cheese directly to you.
Actually, the Annie's white cheddar is usually like 50 cents a box.
That beautiful purple box with the bunny
purple
shaped
Annie's
pasta.
box. It's organic, supposedly.
Delightful.
So. Well, there you have it. Russell's Reserve. I'm like slurring my words after 2 pours.
We didn't have a lot of that.
I'll take one more splash if you don't mind.
Splash, yeah.
Anyways, with that being said, that's Russell's Reserve. You did come at the right time, Safi. That's Russell's Reserve. You guys need to get out there and get it, in my humble opinion.
You want more?
That's good. That's good. Okay. Oh, yeah.
You want a real heavy pour?
Anyway,
love it.
I think that's what we got today. So
happy 150. Happy 150.
And then why don't you talk about what we got on deck since we're right approaching the holiday time? Can you reveal anything? Or you guys keep it
so
on wraps?
Listen, we're gonna bring our friend Melina back for
Molina's
something
coming back
weird.
by popular demand.
And we're going to do the weird offering, and that's going to be the once a month weird offering from Molina.
Yes.
And listen, we don't say weird negatively,
No,
but
it's
it just
it's
means
fun.
she
It's fun.
she brings us something
Fun.
out of the way,
from
something
Corey's,
something strange.
from our friends
So
at Corey's.
You might remember last month she brought us for Dia de los Muertos,
That
or no, it was
mezcal.
early this month. It was
Yeah.
right out of the box this month.
Wow.
She brought us the mezcal for Dia de los Muertos, but it was a elote mezcal, so it was corn and
What?
mayonnaise and char. It was really funky, but really delicious.
Yeah.
So we're gonna look to have her come back and bring us something interesting for the
I would
holidays.
like I would like to maybe do like an amaro or like an aperitif.
I'm
like
sure she can make that
something-
happen.
We'll talk. We'll talk.
Yeah, we'll hit her up.
And then
Let's find out what she's bringing. Listen, we've got our traditional shows that are people pleasers, and just we love doing them. It's December, which means we've got the Nog Show. All right. We've got the end of the year Bubbles show, the champagne show. Has to be, listen, it's a tradition. We're going to do it again.
the what show?
The champagne show.
So I don't know that goes over that well. I don't know that we're
Doesn't
maybe we'll do some
matter.
champagne cocktails.
Oh.
Like, could that be done? Yeah, you do a
Oh.
spray bottle of orange juice. We do a mimosa. We just Sub 1K says, congrats on 150. Happy 150 from Safi. Sub 1K says, looking forward to the next 150. Thank you much.
Thank
And we
you.
thank you for joining us for all of them, pretty much.
Speaking of Sub 1K, he gave us a great show that we should try and knock out. Maybe next
Ooh,
week,
what's
actually.
that?
That's
Okay.
we should do it for next week. And Sub 1K,
okay.
we'd love to have you as our third next week if you can make it.
Hit us up. Let's
He
make
hit
that
us up. He
happen.
wanted to know could we bring
What's that?
some top picks for affordable scotch,
Oh,
right?
some affordable scotch
something
choices?
that goes $30 to $40.
Yeah.
This is actually going to be a great show because
I'll take it to the next level. I'll go 20 to 50. Let's keep it 20 to 50 range.
That's a big gap.
But come on.
He wants something that's
Give
going
me
to
the
stick
flexibility.
to the Glenlivet Caribbean cask.
20 to 50, please. 20 to 45.
20 to 45 I'll do, and here's
Okay,
why.
There we go.
Because we're going to
Compromise
talk
there.
about why did scotch prices go so high, and that was his question. I have the answer, and it all
And we
comes down
talked about Japanese whiskey last
to
week and that debacle.
tariffs.
Oh, well, tariffs, of course.
It's tariffs, and so we're going to talk tariffs. But you know
Yeah.
what? Scotch is a great holiday gift, and we
It
should
sure
really
is a great
talk.
gift. We'll talk.
We should talk this
Gift
show
ideas.
next week because scotch is a great gift. We can talk great scotches under $50. I think you know what?
Mhm.
Scotch is under 50.
Scotch is under 50. as
Good gift ideas, and then we'll taste them. We'll tell you about them. I think that's the show.
I
for
think
next
it's our
week.
show next week. And that's actually really exciting because I have a lot of those kind of, because I started out as a Scotch guy. So I kind of had this really good base kind of knowledge
Oh.
of Scotch. So I'm really
Oh.
looking forward to that because like hopefully I can throw some picks at you guys where, and not doers or cutty or anything like that, but
There's nothing
Well-
wrong with the cutty sock.
we'll get some good picks for you next week. So
Yeah.
with that being said,
Oh wait, I have a booze news.
Oh, please, let's do a booze news.
I have a booze news for us that I thought
I need to try this Jolly Beat beverage.
you'd
while
really
you're-
want to know about.
I got to see what this is. I don't even know what it is. I don't want to know. Let's taste it.
So we talked about
Oh my God, it's like a pineapple
kind of
pineapple
all.
juice.
Oh God.
Do you know what I can do? Is put this bourbon right in it. Look at this.
Oh God.
Did you just catch that? Tell me you just got that. And didn't I say this could hold up with a cocktail?
You did
I'm gonna
say
tell
that.
you right here.
You're gonna put your money where your mouth is.
Oh boy. Get that hootenanny going. This
There it
is
is.
like a
There it is. Okay. So we talked about how all of these producers
yeah.
are producing more. So what does that mean?
What does that mean? That you would think prices would go down.
Prices will go down, but will they? Because there's
No.
demand.
No.
While they're increasing
No.
while they're increasing production
Okay.
to meet demand has increased on something else. Do you know what that is?
The grains. I think the grains are super expensive.
No, it's
Barrels.
worse.
Oh, white oak.
The white oak tree
That's a big
is
problem.
now in danger.
Okay, that's a huge problem.
and thus so
Why don't
is
you explain
bourbon.
why white oak is a big deal? Most of you
So
should know. We've talked about them before.
we talk about this a lot. Okay, so we got this great article sent to me coming in from a place called The Manual. This is written November 27th, 2023 by Christopher Osborne.
What does Chris got to say about it?
And so here's what it says. It says
Christopher.
that if you've ever looked into the process of making whiskey, specifically bourbon, you know that there's a lot of rules and regulations. We talk about that on this show a lot. And of the top ingredients, there's nothing more important than the aging process. And that aging process requires virgin American white oak.
Very, very specific, friends. As you know, bourbon rides on the heart of bourbon is white oak. We could not have and appreciate what we have today if it wasn't for the white oak tree.
That's
so this
it.
is like a really big deal.
A new report out
Other
says,
wood, where other wood is used, it does not.
doesn't
It's
do it.
not comparable to white
doesn't
oak.
do it. Maybe Amberana.
I knew it. I knew that was coming. I knew that was
Maybe
like you were going to
Amberana.
slide in with that to chat my ass about Ambu.
The Ambu,
And-
those Ambu barrels.
Do you understand Amberana in South America is basically a tree that was used for like tea. So they would like shred it up because they didn't have like real tea like they have in like England or India or Asia.
Someday
And
I want you to
they
just
take
throw
this
your
like
headphones
wretched
off.
wood
like, God damn Amberana!
and like, oh well, look at this. It adds this amazing, pleasing baking spice, sweet, rich, doughy taste, and like baking spices, and it's so clean and sweet and amazing. Well, lo and behold, look at this. The whiskey community is like, oh, stop the press. We can take dog shit, dog water whiskey, throw it in some Amberana or Amberana staves, which is most of these idiots are doing. They're not even putting it in like the traditional method. They're just like putting Amberana chips in some barrel. And of course, you're basically steeping. You might as well just call it a flavored whiskey at that point, if anything's aged Amberana. And you're getting those elements coming right through. And it takes your crappy, ethanol-y, boozy, sour, punchy whiskey, and it turns it decent. And it only takes, it's like a tea bag of steeping tea. It literally, like, you see that like
You see it
flavor and color come
see it
out of the
etch
Amberana.
You see it etch out into the
So all of
spirit.
these NDPs are like, holy moly, we can start using Amberana barrels. And of course,
and
all
we
the
can make it taste
all
better.
the tasters of all of these like random awards around the country are all like 100 out of 100. That's the best tasting thing I've ever had. Oh, what's Amberana? Oh, wow, that's really cool way to fake turn a crappy whiskey good. Anyways,
It gives it the
digress.
real
I've ranted,
character,
sorry.
the real character of a good whiskey.
I didn't mean to go on that rant. Go ahead.
So I'm sorry.
What do you got for booze news?
So unfortunately,
White
because
oak.
of this increase in production,
Yeah,
according to a group of
can't grow
researchers
fast
and
enough.
industry insiders, the White Oak Initiative, they say that there's approximately 100 million acres of white oak throughout the United States, and about 75% of it is at maturity. And while that's good
great.
for today, it's bad news for the future. Because at
Oh.
75% maturity, they're going to cut that all down, leaving about
Yeah.
25% to go,
Yeah.
and nobody's replanting.
That's the problem. Why aren't they replanting?
Additionally,
We don't know. That's shame on
competing
them.
species like maple and beech trees are responsible for the lack of young white oak trees. Climate change, invasive insects, disease, and the behavioral change also plays a part in the decline. So in a decade or so, there might be a real difficulty getting wood to make the barrels that requires to make bourbon. We do have Maker's Mark, Old Forester, and Buffalo Trace all doing conservation plans. So there might be some help.
Hey, here's what I got to say. These companies need to be getting on the bandwagon and
Yeah.
support these white oak initiatives because this is their bloodline. This is like their bread and butter here. The
And-
heart of bourbon surrounds white oak.
Agreed. It has to be. It has to be. And the University of Kentucky announced in 2021 that it's going to create the largest repository of American white oak trees in collaboration with Maker's Mark. So they have been collecting different families of white oak, and they've been collecting and planting them over at Maker's Mark Star Hill Farm.
Thankfully,
So far, they've
shout out to
planted
makers.
1,700 trees. They did another 2,200 in 2022, and another 5,000 just this past spring. But it takes time to grow these.
And that sounds like a lot, but that's a drop in the bucket.
It
I mean,
really is.
that's what 1,000 trees maybe
That's one run.
gets you a month's worth of barrels, maybe. Like, that's not enough, guys. You need hundreds of thousands to
let's hope.
make a dent.
Let's hope that these guys are successful.
They need to be getting on board. They need to be collaborating and make some white oak collective nonprofit or something.
Oh, that's what they've done. That's what they've done.
No, but they got to really, like, all of them need to collaborate and go for it. It's not just half measures with your 1,000 trees. That doesn't cut it. That's just being used as a tax write-off. They need to get all of these distilleries need to collaborate on this one effort, because that's their bloodline of their business.
Yep.
They lose white oak, because here's what's first going to happen. All of the prices for white oak will end up skyrocketing because it'll be available less. Do you think they're going to flip the bill for these prices?
Absolutely not.
No.
That's getting passed on to you and me.
On to us, guys.
It's getting passed on to you.
It's all coming down to us. They're not going to eat it at the distillery.
Let's be honest. These kinds of stories are getting peddled out right now, so that way they can start doing it, being like, $1 from every bottle is being donated to plant a tree.
Even if I had to pay an extra $1 a bottle, so our future generations can have what we have, I'm okay. I would do that.
Old men.
I know some people would argue against that.
Just remember, old men plant the trees for the shade they know they will never sit under.
This is true. Jimmy Russell, I'm sure. Yeah. Great example.
Well, this was fun.
This was fun. This is a great show.
Good show.
Kudos to 150. Thanks we got a little bit of news there about, sad news about white oak.
And hopeful news. There's some hope there.
There is.
But we need more. There needs to be more.
We should
maybe the Barrel Buddies needs to make a big thing.
Out of my mouth.
Sorry, I'm just gonna pull.
No,
I
love that. I think
maybe we need to plant some trees. You want to go plant some American white oak?
I'm ready to just start a big white oak initiative.
I think we might need to. Do you think that you can help us plant some trees? Let's see what we can do.
I'll buy and sell some trees.
Leave a comment below if you'd be willing to plant some trees, buy some saplings in the name of bourbon.
Big deal, man. It's not a laughing matter. Don't mean to laugh, but
anyway, this was good.
This was good. We talked about future shows. We talked about what we got going on. Yeah, that's pretty much that'll take us into the end of the year.
Yeah, it will.
And that's what we got, guys. So great pour tonight on episode 150.
Delicious.
For the Barrel Buddies, I'm James.
And I'm BJ. We'll see you next week.
We will. Yes, Sub 1K said white oak's my new favorite tree. It is my new favorite tree as well. It should be all of your favorite new tree if you drink whiskey.
We should make a shirt that says "Save the Oaks" instead of "Save the Whales."
Save the white oak instead of "Save the whales."
Save the oaks,
or just it says "Save the whales." Whales is just X'd out and it says "white oak" instead. So
coming next week for a Christmas.
We'll get it up on the website
for you.
See you guys. Bye.